everybody, my name is Deja and welcome back to my channel. Today we are starting a very exciting reading vlog and that is for Summerween. Summerween is a really fun readathon hosted by Gabby from Gabby Reads that I absolutely love doing every single year. And if you guys know anything about me, I love horror, I love Halloween, I love spooky season. Nobody in my personal life literally loves Halloween the way that I love Halloween, okay? Halloween is my thing, and so I love this readathon. It's basically just bringing spooky season and Halloween into the summertime. And this year is actually being hosted for 8 days instead of 7 days, so it is going an extra day. And I believe that it's happening, well, today's the 5th. It's happening from the 5th, and I think next Saturday is the 12th. And there are some prompts. You don't have to do the prompts, I would say, but I like to do them because I'm a prompt girl. It is read a book in the dark or at night, read a horror or thriller book, read a book with a sky on the cover, read a book you've owned for a year or longer, and read a novella, manga, or listen to a spooky audiobook. Even though I would really like to complete the prompts, we'll see if I actually do, because this month in July I'm actually hosting my own readathon for the entire month, and that is the tarot readathon. So basically the tarot cards are picking what books that I read for the entire month, because it is a competitive team-based readathon, but it is a lot more relaxed and chill than some of the other competitive team-based readathons, which I really like because you can kind of read at your own pace. But I do want to get points for my team, because last year we were at the head for one trophy. We do have 3 different trophies for the readathon, so like 3 different ways teams can win. Basically one is based off page count and completing your personal prompts, and one of them is based off reading for a weekly challenge, which is heavily going to impact my Summerween TBR, because basically what happens is everybody's pulling their own personal cards and seeing, okay, this is the 6 of Pentacles, I figure out the prompt, I read a book for that prompt. But at the same time, every single week each team is going to have their own extra card. We call it the significator card, and you're also trying to read for that prompt for the entire week. And the best way to do that is to double up between your personal pulls that you're pulling and then also trying to get books read for the significator card. And so that's heavily probably going to impact my TBR for this readathon. And then the last one is just kind of like a self-care trophy. But last year my team Cups, which is the best team, we were at the head of one trophy for the entire readathon, and then in the last week someone stole it out from under us. Honestly, it was really terrible and I hated it, because I've been hosting Team Cups since the very beginning and I love hosting Cups so much, and the fact that we didn't win hurt me. So I am leading the charge this year, so I'm really going to take advantage and try to read as much as possible in July, including Summerween. As I said, it's the first day of the readathon. It is Saturday the 5th, and so far this month I've read 3 books and I'm on my 4th book. I'm about halfway done, and I wanted to try and finish it up yesterday, but yesterday was the 4th in America, which is a holiday, and while my family was not celebrating America, we took advantage of the day off and we still hung out, you know, did some water activities, grilled, stuff like that. So I did not have time to finish that book yesterday because it is a lengthy book and it does not really fit into this readathon, but I need to try and finish it up today because I don't own a physical copy. I just have the ebook and the audiobook, and the audiobook goes back to the library in like 2 days. So I want to try and finish this one up today, and I have it here. I just got a Kobo. My boyfriend bought it for me. I've always been a Kindle girl. I've had my Kindle for quite a few years, and I upgraded to the Kobo Clara color. I know a lot of people have the Libra color. I just know that I would never use the pen feature. I would never actually write in the book, so I ended up going with the Clara color because it was like $100 less expensive. And as I said, you have to also buy the pen, and I know that I would never use the pen. The only thing I wish is I like that the Libra color has buttons and this one doesn't have buttons. But I'm reading Blood Over Brighthaven, which is a standalone fantasy dark academia book, and this one has been one that hella people have been talking about. It's been a lot of people's favorite book of the year, so I was like, I need to pick it up. And I have it checked out for my library. I actually have a lot checked out for my library on Libby right now, but a lot of them don't have people with waits. This one, there are people waiting for it, so I cannot just renew it. I need to finish it. I am 48% in-ish, and I'm really liking it so far. I am still getting used to the world and the magic because I haven't really read high fantasy in a long time, and this is a different world, so I am taking it a little bit slower. But the audiobook but doing immersion reading between the ebook and the audiobook has been really helping me, so I'm really liking this one so far. I probably won't talk too much about it because it doesn't fit the Summerween theme. And if you're curious, I'm reading this for the 2 of Cups for the Tarot Readathon, which is read a book that explores partnership or the power of 2, and there is kind of like a partnership element in here between a mage and their assistant. So I was able to fulfill this book with Blood Over Brighthaven, and I have 2 other cards that I've also pulled for the Tarot Readathon that I have not completed yet, that I slotted to books that I thought would work great for this that I thought would work great for summerween. And I've also pulled 2 other cards that I have not completed yet, and I slotted books to them that I thought would be great for summerween. So I have these 2 as well, and they both count for my significator card. Only one of the 3 books I've read so far for this week have counted for our significator, and Blood Over Brighthaven does not count for the significator, which my team significator is the moon, which is read a book that explores the paranormal or supernatural, which is not my favorite, but I'm trying. So both these books do count for that. The first one is Knight's Edge by Liz Kieran, which is counting for the Ace of Swords, which is read a debut novel. And this one I just know has to do with vampires and a mother-daughter relationship. I think it's more like new adult than adult, and I think vampirism in this one might have to do with like an apocalypse. I'm not 100% sure, but I know my friend Haley loved this one. I think when it came out in 2023, I want to say is when it came out. Yes. And so I picked this one up last year in 2024, and I've been dying to read it because she just talked so highly of this one. And then the second book that I have is The Pallbearers Club by Paul Tremblay, and this one is counting for the King of Pentacles, which is read a book that has an unreliable narrator or a villain POV. And this one again also has to do with vampires. I believe we're following this man, and he wrote this story or something like that, or is recounting something, and basically is claiming that this woman is a vampire that he knew, but she's basically like annotating the book, you can see here, about her thoughts, and claims that she's not a vampire. So it does explore the paranormal or supernatural because there is a vampire element. I know this one kind of has mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I'm really excited to try it out regardless, because I read The Cabin at the World by this author years ago and I liked it, but I liked the movie more. I don't know how I would feel about it if I read it now, but I'm really excited for this one. And as I said, they both count for the significator card. And then we can knock off a couple prompts for summerween with these. These are both horror books, so I can count them for the read a horror or thriller prompt. And then this one I know for sure I've owned more than a year. This one I'm not sure. I know I got in 2024, but I'm not sure if it's been a whole year yet. But this one I know for sure I've owned for more than a year, so I know that I can knock off that prompt. And then this one I would say kind of has a sky in the cover, but I may try to get another book with a sky on the cover for this. I'm probably going to choose like a spooky novella or graphic novel or manga or something and read that completely at night and count that for the novella or manga or audiobook prompt and at night, because I feel like it's easier to just blast through something in one night when it's really short. So these are the 2 books that I have up after finishing Blood Over Brighthaven, and I want to try and finish these 2 books and Blood Over Brighthaven by Monday night, or basically by Tuesday, because Tuesday is when we get the new significator card. So I'm not going to know what else I'm going to be reading for this readathon until Tuesday when the significator card drops, so I can take that into account when choosing my books, so I can try to get the most amount of points for my team as possible. I'm hoping that we get something very different and a lot easier for me personally for our next significator card. I'm really just excited for this readathon because I've decided this week I'm going to try and like really take on the summerween vibes. I'm going to try and do some like spooky hobbies and just incorporate some spooky things into my routine for this week. But then also later in the week, for the last 2 days of the readathon, I'm actually going to Atlanta because I'm going to see Beyonce for her Cowboy Carter tour. I'm really excited. I've never seen Beyonce in concert, and I think that she's honestly the best performer of our generation that's currently alive and performing. And I think that she is going to put on such an amazing show. I'm really excited. And so that's on Friday night. We're driving down Friday, and then I have the concert Friday night. And then Saturday, we have a full day in Atlanta. So we're going to go to like the Georgia Aquarium and some really fun other places. So I'm also really excited to do that, and I'll hopefully bring y'all along for that. And then we're leaving on Sunday after the readathon ends. So I'm just really excited for this readathon in general. It is past noon on the first day because I had to do some things. Like I had to post a video. I got ready for the day. I did wake up by like 10, which is a little bit later for me, but I was like, it's Saturday, it's a long weekend, I'm asleep in. My plan for the next couple of hours is to try and knock out Blood Over Brighthaven, and then once my boyfriend leaves for work, because he's on night shift, so he leaves around 5, I have a couple videos I need to film, and then I'll get back into reading later tonight to either finish up this book and start another book, or to just start another book, depending on how much of this I get done before I have to film those videos. So I'm about to get in bed, spend some time with my boyfriend, and get a little bit of progress into this book so I can actually focus on my summerween books. Welcome to my bathroom. I hope it's not too echoey, but I don't think I've ever vlogged in my bathroom. I feel like it's kind of bright, but normally I don't, because like this is very much giving man. My boyfriend bought this before I moved in, and you know what, I don't want to get rid of all this stuff, so I let him have this stuff. But I got something kind of spooky for a bath. I bought this Bubble Bomb Pumpkin Surprise bath bomb, and there is a Halloween surprise inside. let's see. It's from Two Sisters Spa, but I thought I could get this. It is fun. Like, look, it's like a little pumpkin, and we will put her in there and we will see what kind of surprise is in there. I also wanted to tell you I did finally finish Blood Over Brighthaven. It took me quite a while today because it's a fantasy book, so I need to take it a little bit slower. And also I had like literally half the book left, so I ended up finishing that today. It is pretty late. It's already like 10, but it's a Saturday night. You know, I ain't got nothing else better to do, so I'm gonna take this bath. But I ended up rating Blood Over Brighthaven 4.5 stars. I really liked it. It's a standalone dark academia fantasy, and it has a lot to do with like misogyny, anti-colonialism, commentary in the story, and I really, really liked that a lot. The ending was super, super sad though. I didn't expect it to be so bleak, but I really liked the book a lot. I think the next one I'm gonna start, I have the physical copy, but I also got both books checked out from the library as e-copies because I personally just prefer to read on my Kobo, I guess now, my Kobo or my Kindle or an e-reader. I just prefer reading on that. It's like something that I feel like has started kind of like within the past year or two. Like once I got the Kindle clicker, it game changed for me. Sorry if you guys hear my dog, he's like licking himself. But I think I'm gonna first start off with Night's Edge. It's pretty short. The audiobook is only 8 hours, and I also have both audiobooks for Night's Edge and the Pallbearers Club, both on Hoopla. So I have both of those too. But I think I'm going to start with Night's Edge because that's the one that I'm most excited for and the one I think I'm going to like the most. Like, I think Pallbearers Club, I'm either going to love it or hate it. Night's Edge, I know that I'm going to like it. So Pallbearers Club is kind of up in the air, but I'm going to start Night's Edge while I'm in the bath. I can't promise that I'm going to do a lot of reading because I feel like today I've done a lot of reading, but I'm really, really excited to read Night's Edge. And today I honestly didn't do much spooky summerween stuff, which was really disappointing considering it was a Saturday, but the day just kind of got away from me. Does that ever happen to y'all where like you literally are doing something, you blink and the day's over? And I'm like, okay. So that's kind of what happened today. I'm going to draw this bath now so I'm not in there until midnight, and I'm going to hopefully get some reading in of Night's Edge. I feel like I've been neglecting y'all all day, and I apologize. If you guys can see, it's past 9 p.m. now, and it is the next day. Today, I did some stuff, but I kind of took today to be like a rot day. Normally on Sundays, I feel like there's supposed to be like a relaxation day, but that's the day that I do all my chores. Like, I go to the grocery store, I do my laundry, I clean what I have to clean. But this week, I don't have to get that many groceries because I'm going away this weekend, and my boyfriend, he's gonna be here, but he can fend for himself, okay? I'm gonna cook before I leave, but after that, it's in his hands. So I don't have as much to cook this week, so not as many groceries. And I was gonna get it delivered from Walmart, and I ordered it, and it was supposed to come between 3 and 5, and they literally canceled my order at like 4:15, 4:30, even though they said they already shopped for the item. So I don't know what happened, but I need to go get the groceries tomorrow. I did Walmart pickup this time instead. Normally I go into Walmart myself every single week, every Sunday I'm in Walmart. And I'm kind of sick of doing that, honestly. But I decided to try Walmart pickup and see if it's going to be good or if it's going to be bad. But I need to get the groceries because my mom's actually coming tomorrow to teach me how to make one of my favorite meals. It is actually my favorite, like, home-cooked meal that at least she makes. Well, I have like a top 3. It's definitely like in the top 3 for sure. And I don't know how to make it. I have no idea. So I need her to come and teach me. And I need some ingredients that I'm going to get from Walmart. So I didn't have to go to the grocery store. I mean, I actually did have to because they didn't deliver it. But, you know, we were trying to try something different and it didn't work out. I had a free Walmart delivery, by the way, because my boyfriend has Walmart Plus because he is a police officer. So he gets it for free. I wasn't spending no extra coin on that. Okay, I wasn't. So I'm glad that I didn't. And then also I did a huge deep clean last weekend, so there's really not too much to clean, and I'm doing my laundry now. Laundry doesn't take that much energy for me. Like, I mean, putting it away does, but just washing it, not too bad. So I kind of took today to be like a rot day where I kind of just did what I wanted to do, and I did have reading sprints today for quite a while. I woke up a little bit later because I went to sleep kind of late, so I woke up at like 10, kind of read a little bit in the morning, chilled, you know, hung out with my boyfriend before he had to take his afternoon nap for work, and then I started reading sprints at 1, and then we went to about 5. I actually was doing the last sprint, and 5 minutes before the last sprint was supposed to end, I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and the sprint literally ended. I don't know how that happened at all. It was so weird. That's only ever happened to me one other time, and I think what happened was my internet must have dropped or something because it's been raining crazy today because it is, like, I think a tropical storm or some sort of system is coming in. So it's supposed to be raining like all week, and today we had a lot of rain. And so I think my internet must have like dropped. Our internet sometimes does get a little spotty, so I think that's what happened. But sometimes it drops and it will like still stay live and I just have to rejoin. But this time it completely just like, you know, kaput the live show. So it was fine because we only had like 5 minutes left in the sprints. But during the sprints, I was actually working on my TBR jar. I'm revamping her. If you guys know, you might be familiar with this jar. She's a big jar. That's what everybody always says. But this is my TBR jar. I'm redoing her because I've unhauled a lot of books. I bought a lot of books. And so I'm redoing her because I want to start doing some videos starting in August, like maybe monthly or bi-monthly, where I don't know like what it's actually going to be called yet, but it's kind of like those read it or unhaul it type challenges, except I'm not really focusing on unhauling. It's more of like focusing on reading books that have been on my shelves for years and like me getting just my physical TBR down, because I'm not a big unhauler. Like, I do unhaul, but I am not a huge unhauler. I'm not a big DNFer or anything like that. So it's more like focusing on just like reading books that aren't new and shiny. They're like the older ones, and that's like really what I want to focus on. I mean, the jar will have everything in it, but that's kind of like the point of the jar. And so I was working on this while listening to my audiobook of Knight's Edge because I have it out from Hoopla, and I could have gotten way more read on sprints, but I honestly have like a headache today because of the rain, and so I couldn't really like concentrate as much as I wanted to. But I am 142 pages in, so I think I'm over 50%, like 53% of the way in, and I'm really liking this book so far. It is a vampire book, but our main character is actually not a vampire. Her mom is a vampire. We have 2 different timelines in this book, and so it starts off in 2010 where our main character is 10 years old, and she comes in and finds her mom basically dead, and there's a man there who like killed her basically, but he bit her, and he carries this type of trait that's basically vampirism and passes it on to her mom. And obviously this is really traumatizing for her to basically see her mom dead at 10 years old, and also like seeing her mom go through this vampiric transformation. And then we also follow her present day as she's like in her 20s, and she wants kind of a different life for herself, because for the past like 10-15 years she's been solely focused on her mom. It literally says in the synopsis, having a mom like Izzy meant Mia had to grow up fast. No extracurriculars, no inviting friends over, and definitely no dating. The most important rule, tell no one of Izzy's hunger, the one only blood can satisfy. So Mia kind of got parentified in a way, but to her own mother. She's had to take care of her mother and take care of things around the house when her mother couldn't because of her vampirism. She never really could live her life because of her mom being a vampire. And I think this is the perfect depiction of a like really not toxic but kind of toxic mother-daughter relationship, where when you have a parent who is very needy and not necessarily like an adult themselves, it can be very, very draining on a child and causes them to grow up fast. And I think this is the perfect depiction of that. Personally, I never had that. That's not something that I have dealt with, but I really, really enjoy like seeing someone else experience this, because I do know people who have had something like this where they had to grow up really fast because their parents weren't the parents that they needed to be, and they needed to help their parents. And the vampirism is really a whole metaphor for this type of relationship, which is very, very interesting. And as I said, now in her 20s, Mia's kind of debating a different life for herself, and she is kind of wants to get away because she feels like even if she doesn't physically die being with her mother, she is going to metaphorically die because she's being drained emotionally, physically, mentally so extremely that it is slowly killing her. She also meets this rebellion musician Jade, and Jade is going to kind of be her way out. She's really like thinking now. It says she dares to hope she found a way to leave her home and her mom behind. So far in this book, halfway done, she has met Jade and we see them kind of interact, but she hasn't gotten to the point of like actually putting into action or thinking about leaving her mom too intensely. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out in the second half of this story. I'm hoping to finish this tonight, and I was going to watch like a spooky movie tonight and do kind of like a spooky movie night at home. Since my boyfriend isn't here, I could just like watch the movie, whatever. But I fear it is so late. I actually was just walking on my walking pad and I got off right before I started this, and Love Island dropped 20 minutes ago and I need to watch that, and that's gonna be like a good hour to an hour and a half. So by that point it's gonna be like 10:30, 11, and you know, I don't really want to turn on a movie on a Sunday night that late. And tomorrow's going to be a little bit crazy, a little bit chaotic. Mondays are always pretty busy for me work-wise, and I go to the gym on Mondays, and my mom's coming over. So we'll see how much reading I actually get done. So tomorrow's going to be a little bit chaotic, but I'm hoping that I can still sprinkle in some like spooky activities. I'm fully embracing the summerween vibes. This is one of my favorite crew necks. I absolutely love it. It's kind of freezing in my house right now, but I love this crew neck. That's why it's so worn, because it's one of my favorites. And it's the third day of the readathon, and I feel like I've barely talked to y'all and I've barely read anything, because the first day I spent basically the entire day finishing Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wang, and so that one didn't really fit the summerween vibes, but I'm excited because I finished my first book that actually fits the summerween kind of theme. But today I didn't have the chance to talk to y'all because it's been been crazy. I woke up like an hour later than I wanted to, so I immediately hopped into work. Then I went to the gym, and then I had meetings and more work, and then I had to go pick up the groceries from Walmart, and then my mom came and she taught me how to make the meal, and then she hung out for a couple hours after that, and she left maybe about an hour ago. It's around 7:45 now, and she left around 6:30, so I haven't really had the chance to really talk to y'all much today and or read. But I did finish my first like official book of the readathon because last night I literally crashed after Love Island, so I ended up finishing Knight's Edge today. And again, this is counting for Ace of Swords for the Tarot Readathon, which is a debut novel. It's also counting for the Tarot Readathon significator prompt this week, which is the moon. And then for Summerween, I'm counting it for read a horror or thriller book. And then I'm 95% sure, I know I said in the beginning I wasn't sure if I owned this for a year or longer, but I looked back at some hauls and stuff, so I'm pretty sure I've owned this one for longer than a year, so I'm counting it for that prompt as well. So all we have left is read a book in the dark or at night, read a book with a sky on the cover, and read a novella, manga, or listen to a spooky audiobook. Even though I did listen to the audiobook of this one, I don't really count that because I listen to a lot of things on audiobooks, so I want to read a novella or a manga for that prompt. And I know I also said I was going to read the Pallbearers Club because this is King of Pentacles for the Tarot Readathon, which is read a book that has an unreliable narrator or villain point of view. And then also it would count for the moon significator prompt, which is read a book that explores the paranormal or supernatural. But we get a new significator card tomorrow at 7 a.m. PST, so around 10 my time. So I don't really want to start a full-length book like this because I don't think that I would finish it in time to count it for the significator. So I'm kind of redirecting my plans a little bit. So I think tonight Love Island comes on, of course, at 9, so I need to watch it because my ship is finally setting sail, okay? I think it's finally, I thought I was gonna set sail and then it double backed, and now I think it's officially setting sail. So I think after Love Island, I'm gonna try and read PTSD Radio. I actually have 3 manga checked out from the library. Let me get them. So I have PTSD Radio, and then I also have Tomi, which I didn't want to pick up because it's huge, so I don't think I'd finish it all today. And then also I have Gaio by Junji Ito as well. And I looked up, and all of these manga explore the paranormal or supernatural, so I knew it would count for that one. Gaio does not have an unreliable narrator, which I'm trying to get rid of this card, King of Pentacles. So it was kind of down to these two, but again, this one is kind of chunky, so I ended up deciding on PTSD Radio, which I'm really excited for. So this one for the Tarot Readathon, I'm going to count for King of Pentacles, the Moon significator card, and then this one I'm going to count it for read a book in the dark or at night because I'm going to read it at night, and then also read a novella, manga, or listen to a spooky audiobook. So all we will have left is read a book with a sky on the cover. So this is going to be my main focus tonight after Love Island, but Love Island still doesn't start for an hour, so I want to do some like crochet or something like that, and I low-key need an audiobook for that. So I pulled another card, 6 of Cups, and this is to read a book that takes you back to a nostalgic time in your life, and I decided the perfect audiobook for this would be a Goosebumps book. I think it fits Summerween super well. A lot of them explore the paranormal or supernatural, so it would count for the moon significator for the Tarot Readathon. And so the one I decided to go with, I think, is Welcome to Camp Nightmare, because this one sounded really interesting. It says, next summer you'll stay home if you survive. The food isn't great, the counselors are a little strange, and the camp director seems demented. Billy can handle all that, but then strange things start to happen after dark. His parents won't answer his letters, and his fellow campers start to disappear. What's going on? Camp Night Moon is turning into Camp Nightmare, and Billy might be next. And this audiobook is only 3 hours-ish. It's 2 hours and 47 minutes, so I think that I could definitely finish it tonight. And if I don't finish it up tonight, because I may watch some YouTube, tomorrow the significator card isn't dropping until like 10/10:30 my time, and I get up a bit before that, so I will be able to definitely finish this one up tonight/tomorrow. So this is not the cover that's on Everand, but this is the cover that pulls up when I first pull it up on Goodreads. This is the cover. I'll probably pop it on the screen as well, but y'all can see it. I think the cover that is on Everand is, let's see, this is the cover that's on Everand. It looks kind of blurry, but this is the cover. In both of them, I think you can kind of see it. I think in the other one more than this one, but there's definitely some like sky happening, and I always go with like the first cover that pulls up, this one, and you can definitely see like sky back there. So I think this one would count for the last prompt for the readathon. So that'd be great if I can knock out all of the prompts for the readathon within the first like 3-4 days of the readathon, like the first half of the readathon, considering that I didn't plan a TBR because of the tarot readathon. So that's kind of my plan, is to just read PTSD Radio tonight and then maybe read a little bit of the Goosebumps book Camp Nightmare tonight and tomorrow. So I think I've devised a pretty good plan for today, considering that we are about to have a significator change. That always makes me really anxious for the readathon, because you're trying to like finish books up for the significator, but then you're also trying to not start anything that may not count for the next significator card. And I think tonight I might do a kind of summerween woobles kit. I actually have some like spooky woobles coming in the mail, but they're not here yet. So I have ones that I got last year that are just like ocean animals, but there's a shark. And shark to me gives summerween. Like, it's giving Jaws, it's giving those vibes. So I think I might try to work on that while I'm doing Love Island, because I don't need to watch the videos for the woobles. I've been crocheting. I just need the pattern. So I think I'm going to try and work on that for kind of a spooky activity while watching Love Island, and I think that's going to be really, really fun. I'm getting really hungry because I didn't really eat that much today, so I'm going to go eat before I start getting a migraine, because I feel it coming on, and hopefully that will diminish, and then we can watch Love Island, crochet a little bit, and then dive into this manga. I didn't record the whole process because it took me about 2 hours to make this wooble, and it was a pretty simple wooble compared to some of the ones I've done. But this is Tank. His name is Tank. He's a little shark. I feel like I did place his tail like a little bit too low, because like, why is this one coming down? I should have placed it a little bit more up, but it's okay. I think, you know, if we just squish it together a little bit, I think he still looks really cute. This is probably gonna go in my boyfriend's police car, but you know, it's giving Jaws vibe. It's giving Jaws. And I did not read any of the manga yet. It is like 12:30, but I'm going to try to read that right when I get in bed, right after I film this. And I realized I didn't talk to y'all at all about Night's Edge. I told you that I finished it, but I didn't tell y'all, I don't even think, my rating or anything. But I'm going to talk to y'all while I clean up my desk a little bit, because I like to have a clean desk going into the next day, so I need to clean her up a little. But Night's Edge is a very character-driven story, so I don't have much other thoughts than what I gave you originally. But I ended up on a 4.5 star. I think it's such a beautiful allegory for having a parent that is neglectful, that deals with addiction, because this is a metaphor for addiction. Just, she's a vampire addicted to blood versus like a regular parent addicted to drugs or whatever other substance. And I think also, like, we see her dealing with having a parent that's basically with an abusive partner that comes in and out of their lives. So I think that that was really beautifully handled and beautifully done, and I really liked the kind of queer sapphic relationship that we got in here. I think that we see our main character kind of exploring a lot of her identity and trying to figure out herself, and we we see her especially do that with her sexuality with the other character. I think her name is Jade. We do see her kind of go out and explore more. Like I said, I think when I was describing y'all the book yesterday, I said that we kind of got to the point where she met the other girl, but she didn't like go off with her or try to explore too much of like what it would be like to leave her mom. But then she did kind of explore those thoughts and like even test the waters a little bit, which was interesting. And the ending of this book was extremely tragic. I think it was very, very sad and heartbreaking, and I think it kind of goes to show a lot to do with like, again, like a parent that has addiction or someone in your life who has addiction, and you try to help them and you care for them and you do the best that you can to support them, but I think in the end they're a lot of the times their own destruction, and we kind of see that in the story. This does have a sequel. There's only 2 books out. I don't know if there's going to be any more, but I'm interested to see how the second book would continue the story, because I think the ending was so tragic and poignant, and I really, really liked how it ended. So I don't really know if I would like a continuation. Like, I feel like this ended off really well. I do have the second book. I think it's called First Light, so I will be reading it. And a lot of people who have read this book, most of my friends who have read this love it, and they also really like the second book, the majority of them. So I will be picking up the second book. I'm just interested to see how the story is going to continue and carry on those themes, because I think the way that it ended off really solidified the themes very well, but continuing the story I feel like could diminish them in a way. So I'm just interested to see how the author is going to kind of pull that off. But those are my thoughts on Night's Edge. I really liked it a lot. The only reason I didn't give it a full 5-star is because, one, it didn't give me that 5-star feeling, but also this is a very character driven story, which a lot of times does work for me, but I wish we just had a little bit more of like the vampire kind of horror in this. I think the emotional horror is very present, but because our main character isn't even a vampire herself, I feel like some of the like really good horror was missed a little bit. But we do have some pretty graphic, gruesome scenes in this, but they're not super frequent. They're pretty far and few between. I did like what we got, but I wish we had like a little bit more. I think that would have satisfied me a bit. I don't know if it would have bumped it up to a 5-star, but that's kind of my only personal kind of critique of the book. But I understand why the author didn't do that. I just personally wanted more, because that's just who I am. And I'm gonna go do my skincare and get into bed and read a little bit of PTSD Radio. Even if I don't finish it tonight, I shouldn't have too much work in the morning, and I think tomorrow's gonna be my rest day. Normally I've been trying to do a 3-day split. I was originally trying to do 4 days, but I don't know, something about it just wasn't working for me. So I'm gonna try and do a 3-day and see if that works. So normally I would do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but on Friday I'm leaving to go to Atlanta, so I really need to squeeze my 3 days in Monday through Thursday. So I think I'm going to take my rest day tomorrow, but even so, I should have time to finish both the Goosebumps book and PTSD Radio before the Significator drops tomorrow. Y'all don't ever see this bookcase, so I thought I would say here right now. This is my priority TBR shelf, because I have a lot of books on my TBR, so they won't all fit on one shelf. This is my priority TBR. It is the next morning. I'm not neglecting y'all today. I'm updating y'all because last night I made some reading progress. I did read PTSD Radio last night, which marks off the prompts for Summerween. Read a book in the dark or at night, because I read it at night. And then it also counts for read a novella, manga, or spooky audiobook. And then for the tarot readathon, I counted it for King of Pentacles, which is read a book that has an unreliable narrator. There's kind of multiple narrators in here, and I would say a lot of them are unreliable, so this definitely counts for that. And it counted for the weekly significator card, which was read a book that explores the paranormal or supernatural, because there's definitely some unexplained things in here. And then this morning I listened to the audiobook for Welcome to Camp Nightmare by R.L. Stein. Oh, there's actually a fur on my camera lens, and this one marked off the prompt for Summerween, read a book that has a sky on the cover. And then for the tarot readathon, it counted for 6 of Cups, which is read a book that takes you back to a nostalgic time in your life, and it also explores the paranormal in a little bit, or like supernatural in kind of ways indirectly. And so that one counted for my tarot readathon as well. And so for my ratings, PTSD Radio, I'm giving 2 stars. I did not like this at all. In every manga that I've read, I've liked, and this one I did not. I honestly would have DNF'd it, and I'm not a big DNF'er. Like, I rarely DNF books, but I really did not like this one at all, because I felt like the story was so all over the place. I know it's volume 1, but still I didn't feel grounded in the story at all, because for the most part, each different there's not like chapters, kind of, there is, and they're like range from like, I would say like 3 or 4 pages to like 10 pages, and sometimes we would like be in a story following somebody and then leave after like 3 pages and then come back to them later in the book, which is fine, like we're getting more of their story. But I feel like, oh, I'm holding it backwards. I feel like the author had ideas for scenes or like kind of this crazy imagery that he wanted to portray in the book, and then he literally just like this, like I feel like, how does this relate to the story? It doesn't. It doesn't. It's just a graphic image that invokes spooky feeling. I feel like they already had like images that they already drew or ideas of scenes that they wanted to do and just decided, hey, I'm going to add in this element to try and connect the stories all together. But it didn't even connect the stories all together. And overall, I just felt like this was very disjointed. It didn't make any sense really. And like, it doesn't have to make sense, but like the story even connecting to itself didn't make sense. And so this is a 2-star for me. And then Welcome to Camp Nightmare, I'm giving 3 stars. It was a fun Goosebumps book. I've read other ones that I liked more though, and this one was just super quick. I feel like all the Goosebumps are super quick. I liked the camp setting, but I didn't really feel any like specific draw to the story. I mean, it's a middle grade little chapter book, but there are some Goosebumps that I've read as an adult that I really liked. This one wasn't one of those. I liked it, but it just was okay. And so those are my 2 ratings on the books, and so that means that I've completed all my summerween prompts, which is amazing. So I do plan on trying to read more like thrillers, mysteries, and horror for the rest of the week, even though I've completed the prompts, just so I can like, you know, stay in the spooky kind of vibe. And we did get our new significator card this morning. I think ours is 2 of Pentacles, which is read a book that has a character that's making a big decision or faces a big decision. And I went through all of my thrillers, mysteries, and horror books and picked out which ones I thought had that in it, and I kind of like looked at their synopses and stuff like that to try and figure it out, because I feel like I was saying that this significator is kind of easy and hard for us. I feel like it's easy in the sense that a lot of books can fit this prompt, but it's hard because it's not necessarily something that you're gonna know based off of reading the synopsis. It may come in the book, and then also it's kind of up to interpretation, like what is facing a big decision, like what is big. I feel like some of the other teams got prompts that are easier to know, like you're gonna know if the book has it or not, but that not as many books would fulfill it. So it's kind of like, you know, a toss-up of which one you prefer. But I have read all of the tarot cards that I personally pulled for myself, so I thought we would pull some tarot cards together. I'm probably gonna pull 2, and we will see what I get. I don't have an official area that I do my tarot card pulls, but I like this little area on top of my dresser. Okay, so I'm gonna start shuffling the deck and see what I get. Ironically, I've gotten a lot of Cups cards so far, so I kind of want to try to get all the Cups cards because I'm on the Cups team, but I don't know if that would happen. Okay, a card popped out. Well, actually, I think it was 2. So it was actually only 1 card, which is the High Priestess, which is read a book with a mystery element. Okay, so now we're going to do the second pull, and let's see what I get. Oh, well, hella cards came out, so I'm not going to count those. I only count it if it's like 1 or 2 usually, because when like 4 fly out, that's like too many. That's way too many. Okay, let's see. We have the Emperor, and this one is read a book with a 1-word title. Okay, so I got the High Priestess, which is read a book with a mystery element, and I got the Emperor, which is read a book with a 1-word title. Surprisingly, I got 2 major arcana cards, which I love. And when I was looking at my shelves, I had a lot of like horror books that had 1-word titles, but only a few that I didn't read, and then even lower number that I think would count for the significator card. So first up, I have Mother Thing. Obviously, it's 1 word. I know it looks split, but like if you look at the spine, it's 1 word. And the reason I think this would count for the significator, I wrote here that the main character must decide how far she'll go to protect her husband from his mother's toxic ghost and how much of herself she's willing to sacrifice. So a lot of these have to do with motherhood. I think all 3 of the 1-word title books that I have do. And then also I have Night Bitch. Again, it's like 2 words, but it's like technically 1 in the title. And this one, the protagonist must decide whether to suppress her transformation or embrace it, even if it changes her entire life and identity because she's transforming into a dog. And then lastly, I have Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. This one is about 2 parents, and they must decide whether to stay in their perfect new apartment as strange things begin to happen or face the unknown elsewhere. So I think out of all of these, this one is the one that I'm like the least interested in reading, and so that leaves me with these two, and the two Nat Cassidys I've read have been a 3 and a 3.5, so I don't really know, like, I don't really want another 3. I think I'm gonna like this book the most out of all of his work, but you never know. I think I'm gonna go with Night Bitch because this has been on my TBR all year because I really want to watch the movie. So I think this is the one that I'm gonna go with, and a lot of people I know love this book, so I think I'm gonna go with this one. Then there's a lot of books that I could choose for with a mystery element, but I think I want to go with As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. I think it's time to finally finish off this series. I love this series. If you guys don't know, I've given the first 2 books and the prequel novella all 5 stars. I love this series, but I've heard mixed things. Like, some people love the last book and some people hate the last book, so I'm a little nervous. But this one obviously has a mystery element because it literally, like, Pip is investigating something in each book. But then this one also has to do with her making a choice because, one, she's heading to college, so I'm sure there's going to be choices there. But then also there is basically someone stalking her, and she decides that she is going to, like, investigate it herself. So I feel like that's a big decision with you deciding that you're going to investigate something yourself, especially when it's like somebody coming after you. So I am gonna go with this one so I can finish off the series. I think I'm probably gonna start with this one because I love this world so much. It's one of my favorite thriller series. I love it, even though it's YA. I think it's phenomenal. So these are my next 2 books for the readathon. I did not expect either of these, so this is why I love the tarot, because I get to read books that, like, I'm in the mood for but that I didn't expect to read. I love being back with Pip in this book, but you can tell that she's gone through so much, and obviously we know that we've been with her for the other 2 books, but like within the first chapter alone you can already see like basically her PTSD and how it's affecting her relationships as well. I really love her relationship throughout this whole series with her stepfather. I think it's so cute and wholesome and such a great depiction of a step-parent stepchild relationship, and seeing him trying to cheer her up because she's in a kind of perpetual state of depression due to the things that she's experienced is heartbreaking. While it's so nice to be back with her, it's so hard because she's been through so much in the last 2 books, and it's just crazy. Quite a bit of footage so far, so I decided I'm going to split up my summerween vlogs into 2 different vlogs, and this is the end of the first one. You guys saw me from days 1 through 4, Saturday through Tuesday. In that time, I was able to read Night's Edge, which I gave 4.5 stars. I also read PTSD Radio, which I gave 2 stars. I did not like this manga. And then I also read Welcome to Camp Nightmare, which is one of the Goosebumps books by R.L. Stine, which I gave 3 stars. So in the first 4 days, the first half of the readathon, we've completed all the prompts, which is amazing. I also started As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. I'm only about 10% into this one. It is the last book in a series, so I don't really have much to say. I'll talk more about it in the next vlog, but I'm really enjoying this one so far. I love being back with Pip. She's one of my favorite characters that I've read in a thriller, and I feel like it's just like coming home with the way that the writing is, being in Pip's head, and kind of the mixed media elements feel so familiar to me, and I'm having such a good time reading it so far, even though it's quite heavy because we're dealing with very heavy things. I'm really excited for the next vlog because I'm gonna go Halloween decor hunting. Well, I'm not really looking to buy anything myself, but I'm just gonna go look a little bit at some decor, and also I'm going to Atlanta with my mom. I'm gonna see Beyonce, and I plan on taking y'all along for a lot of that trip. So I'm really, really excited for all of that stuff, and I think it's gonna be so fun. So definitely come back for vlog number 2 of Summerween. I think it's gonna be so fun, and I cannot wait to see what I read for the rest of the week. So that is all for today's video. If you made it to the end, leave the little alien emoji down below because this Summerween is kind of themed around like desert alien kind of horror vibes, and I will see you on the next one. Bye everybody. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking in moments we live in, yeah. You got the nerve to be on me, taking your life for the 100. If you got my number, don't let